I'm Tammy.
I'm Lacey. We're the Nutrition Twins.
We're registered dietitians and personal trainers, and today we are sharing with you strategies for preventing holiday weight gain.
And we have to tell you, we've been getting so many questions and we've been collecting them. And we are doing a live Q&A and we'll take your questions today too. But what we found is that it's actually between the times of Halloween and the holidays, the end of the holiday season, that people start to gain weight. And what happens when January 1st comes is that rather than just starting off and losing weight and getting in a great way, they're first working on taking off those pounds that they put on during the holidays. So what we want to do is make sure that you don't gain any weight now, so that when after the holidays come, when New Year's kick in, you can get better than you were before, not just get back to where you were before Halloween. So we've got questions that we've collected, and ask your questions now and we will get them. And we will answer them. So let's start with some of the questions that we've...
Okay, so these are some that people have written into us. So Sarah says, I have so many holiday parties and seem to gain weight every year during this time, and work after all the work and the New Year parties, and then they get back to where I started. And then she says, I think the main issue for me is the desserts of the party. Do you have tips for me for how I can handle them?
Do we have tips for you?
We do, of course.
Of course we do. We are girls that love sweets ourselves, so of course we have to use many tips too. And the sweets are always something that is very tempting. And so for
during holiday time, it's especially a problem because I think we go to all of these parties where it's everywhere.
Yeah.
So the desserts are everywhere.
Yeah,
so
they're everywhere. And so one of the things that we personally do and we have our clients do is if you have just the delicious desserts that you love at home, like we have our go-to that don't ruin the waistline, if you know that you can come home and have that and allow yourself to have that, that is one thing that you can do. So if you are going to a holiday party and at the end of the night you say I'm going to turn off all of that stuff. I don't even know if I want it. It looks good, but I love what I have at home.
And it's portion controlled, and it's an amount that you know that will first of all satisfy you and you'll feel really healthy with it. Then you can go to the party and say, I can pass these other desserts up because I know I'm going home to my special dessert.
And then what you can do too is if that's not for you, which is not for everyone, sometimes you go to these holiday parties and you want to have the dessert there, then go and already have something in mind. Know how much in advance you want to have. So you make a goal with yourself and you stick to it, and maybe even put that on your refrigerator. I will have one piece of dessert tonight. I will have one brownie that is the size of the size of two, let's say 2 inches diameter. 2 inches. That's what we usually say. 2 inches all around. I will have one dessert like that, and put it up and commit to it. Because what happens if you don't go with a plan and you go to the party and there's so much good, delicious food in your face.
Then you want everything and you'll take everything.
So right. It's oh, well, sure. That brownie looks great.
Oh, I didn't even know there'd be that. I'm definitely going to have that.
I didn't even know there'd be pumpkin pie. I mean, who said pumpkin pie?
Whoa.
So then
I'm in. Yes. So what we have our clients do when they get to a party is we have them scope the room of the desserts and first see everything that is there and then pick out what they want to have. So then they can plan in their mind how much they were going to have of it and what they want to have.
Yeah, so the plan in advance is huge. So that is something. And just for a good guideline, if you're eating healthy most of the day, the big thing is that 2-inch diameter is really helpful just to keep in mind if you don't know portion. Because that way you'll keep it, you'll feel like you had something you really like, but you'll keep the portion to something that's not going to do too much damage. So that's with the desserts.
Hi, Steven. Hi, Laura.
Oh, hi, guys. Oh, thanks for joining. Thanks for the love. So we are just answering holiday questions, preventing weight gain during the holidays. And one thing I also wanted to mention is that if you are at these holiday parties and you're hungry, it's disastrous because first of all, you can't focus on the people in front of you. And instead you'll say, oh my gosh, I know I was supposed to stick to one piece of dessert, but I didn't pick it out in advance and everything looks amazing, and it's really hard to control that. So definitely pick in advance what you want to have.
Okay, on to our next question. Okay.
Oh, I had one more tip that I forgot to mention with that. When you are at the holiday party and there's all this food around, it sounds so trite, but really keep your back to it, because when it's in front of your face, it's like calling your name. It's shouting to you. We know what that's like. It's like we're like always like the little kids with the candy jar, like staring.
Yum.
Oh my God, it looks amazing. But if it's behind you and you're in conversation, that's what the party's all about, right? So it sounds silly, but really just out of sight, out of mind.
Steven from Louisiana. Hello,
Yes.
Lafayette.
Thanks for joining us,
Thank you.
Steven. All right, so we are accepting questions, but we have also gathered some from our people that wrote us in. Do you want to
Okay, so one other thing I wanted to mention though is that when you go to a party, also we know it sounds kind of strange, but we're always thinking about the food. Really focus on the company, focus on the people that are around you, and not only on the food. We always want the food, but focus on the company. And it sounds strange, but it actually works.
And if you need to have something in your hand, one of the things that we learned very early on is that New York is a very social city, and everyone always has something in their hand. A drink in this hand, a dessert in this one. Yeah. So we would always have a pocketbook in one hand, and then the other you can have a seltzer. It doesn't matter what you're having, but keep your hands occupied, because if you got a seltzer and a purse, and then there's all those appetizers that keep coming by, it's like
it seems so minor, but it actually it makes a big difference.
Yeah,
When
because
you're like
somebody's
somebody's
talking
cumbersome and
and
you
you're like,
can't come to reach for the past appetizer, or you can't keep reaching back for more of something.
it becomes very awkward, and you're at a party, and who wants to be awkward? I mean, I'm awkward all the time.
We're always awkward. We don't need anything
Right.
else.
Right. So we just keep it like that, and then we're good. So that is a good strategy. Great reminder. Good thinking. So one question we have next up. We had a lot of questions about this. Heather said, "I know I shouldn't drink alcohol, but I do love it, and I just have some friends, and drinking together is what we do." Totally get it. And do you have any tips for drinking that but that helps you to find so you don't gain weight? So like you want to be drinking with your party, with everyone at the party, but you don't want to be gaining weight. We get it. So alcohol is a big one, and the thing about it is, it's so much fun for so many people. But remember, it makes you hungrier, it makes you thirstier, and it lowers your inhibition. So here you are, around all of this
Triple whammy.
You're around all this delicious food, and you care less about what you're going to eat. You take your inhibitions are gone. So this is a great question. We have a lot of tips for the alcohol. One, people always ask us, what are the best alcohols? So Prosecco is a great one regarding calories. It's 90 calories.
When you're talking about lowering the calories, if you want to get more bang, you want to be able to enjoy your alcohol, but not as many calories, then things you want to go for, like, obviously the light beer or the wine. Now, be careful when it comes to wine, because even though a 5-ounce wine glass is 110 calories, which is that's pretty good. But the problem is that most people aren't just having 5 ounces, or they're having several times over the 5 ounces, so it can turn into 500 calories quickly.
Yeah. So and also keep in mind, we live in New York City, and a lot of the wine bars here, the glasses are massive. So you could have 3 typical servings of wine in one glass. So that's 300 calories versus the 110. So the other thing we would say, so the Prosecco is great, the wine spritzer. So the goal of the wine spritzer is, if this is something that's for you, it's not for everybody. If you're a wine connoisseur, you might not be loving the wine spritzers, but you mix a little bit of seltzer with it, so you drink about half as much alcohol. So you're getting half the calories, you're liking the drink. That is really beneficial. We will say the first thing that is very beneficial, and no matter what, do this, the every other rule. So when you get there, start with a non-caloric drink, like
seltzer, water with lemon, water with lime.
Yeah, because if you're drinking throughout the night, it's a long night, every drink is going to keep adding. But if you can spread that out, then you're getting every other drink.
Right, and make sure you don't order or get that alcoholic drink until you finished the non-alcoholic, or the non-alcoholic calorie-free beverage. And hey, Mark, you have a question.
Hey,
you're so sweet. Does
hi.
drinking a lot of liquid in general, non-alcohol, help water, club soda, etc., fill you up, etc.?
Yes, that's a great question.
Hi, Melissa.
Yes, it does help to fill you up, and there's actually more of his question here. So, thank you. Yeah, so it does, and one of the great things about drinking before, one of our favorite tips that we do nonstop all the time is, before we go to any event, we will make sure we have warm tea, and black, green, or oolong tea. It actually has this amino acid in it called theanine. And theanine is amazing because what it does is it relaxes and it causes a mental alertness and calmness.
What's better than that? It calms your mind down and makes you alert. So when you go, say you've got all this food around you during the holidays, you will, instead of reaching for everything, you'll say, I want that, but I'm alert now. I'm not going to have that because I don't want to do damage.
Calm. But the thing about, back to your question about the drinks and filling you up, yes. So this warm tea, it's pacifying, it satisfies you, it takes space in your stomach. And so that takes the edge off hunger a little bit. So whether it's you're diving in, you want to go somewhere and have alcohol, it just kind of takes the edge off by having this tea, the black, green, or oolong tea with the theanine, and the warm, pacifying aspect of it slows you down. And then you have also taken up space in your stomach. So that's a great question.
So the tea, and then we also have some of our clients also have.
Hi,
Melissa. We also have some of our clients add veggies with that, steamed veggies, and that always takes the edge off hunger.
Yes, and we always do that before we go to anything. We will tell you that when we first moved to New York, we made a huge mistake. We were working at the New York Health and Racket Club, and there were so many holiday parties.
You're about to say. Oh, okay.
No, you might not know. I mean, I remember. You'll remember as soon as I say it. We had so many holiday parties, and we were used to, we were pretty much right out of school, and so we had a few holiday parties, but not like this. And every night after work, we would have, there was one holiday party after another, and we'd go straight from the office. And I remember we would both be so hungry. We used to eat dinner around then, and we'd go to these holidays and parties, and it was alcohol and these little teeny hors d'oeuvres that kept passing on the plates. And some of it was stuff like pigs in a blanket, which never appealed to us, but there was stuff like little sweets passing around, which of course always appealed to us, and little like stuffed mushrooms and other stuff.
I'm remembering one in particular. It was a really cool one. It was at Rockefeller Center, and it was overlooking the Christmas tree.
Yeah, that's cool.
The lighting, and we were inside though, so it was warm. It was really cool. But I do remember specifically this one. I know exactly what you're talking about with all of the past appetizers and just being starving, and we just were going from one.
We're going from one to another. I remember actually when we left there, I said, I don't feel full. Like I need to eat dinner, and like each little appetizer was probably like 50 calories. So you have
maybe more.
And so you even have you just have a few. You feel hungry. They're greasy, and you've had more calories than you should have in a meal. And then you get home and you're still hungry. And then you've had alcohol. So it can really add up. So what we started to do all the time was before we went to any of these parties, one, we never went hungry anymore. We started bringing vegetables. We'd go into bodega. We'd have our tea, because that way, one, we weren't like, when people were trying to talk to us, we weren't so hungry that we're like, oh yeah, I hear you, and like grabbing for the appetizers as they passed, like really not paying attention just because we were so hungry. So that was a huge change for us, and it has saved us and our clients now too. Just get some vegetables, even if it can be from a bodega, and a drink. And even if you can't get the tea, just get a drink to help fill you up before
seltzer
you go.
Water. So that's a great question mark, because it absolutely works. It absolutely works.
And did you say it's a great question mark?
Mark asked us a question about it.
Oh, Mark. Yes. Mark, it was a great question. I thought she said that was a great question mark. Because we use voice dictation a lot on, so it's like, is that okay? Question mark.
I understand.
But it was Mark. A great question, Mark. Thanks for asking it.
Okay, we're going to do one more. We'll answer one more of our questions that we have here.
Oh yeah, okay, that one we've already pretty much answered. Okay, I throw a lot of parties, and an issue for me is having all the delicious holiday food around. I don't want to waste it or throw it away. I wish I could just stay away, but it's so tempting, especially my mac and cheese. Okay, we hear you. This is a problem for a lot of our clients, and we talk about this a lot, because what you might find is that when holiday time comes and you're stuck at somebody's house, she says when she's entertaining. So first, if you're entertaining and you have all this great food around, and it's delicious food that you don't normally have around, it's very, very tempting. If it's at your house, the amazing thing that you have the capability to do is after that party, wrap it up in small individual portions and freeze it. That's the key.
Pre-portioned, and then put it right into the freezer. So anytime that you have that you're hungry, you want a little splurge of something, say it's something not so healthy, then just grab it out, defrost it, and you have your pre-portioned amount right there.
Which is really cool because, one, it gives you the time to think about if it's like something like us with a dessert. Like, let's say there was a fudge brownie and we froze it. and then like, oh my God, I'm dying for that right now. It gives a little time for that craving to dissipate because you can't eat it when it's a brick frozen. You let it defrost a little bit, but it's pre-portioned and it will prevent you from things going just nuts, like in just keeping it in control. So one, you keep that frozen, and if you can do that with a mac and cheese or any of your meals, that's amazing. So that's what we recommend doing if the party's at your house. It's much better. If you're staying at someone else's house and you've got all of these carbs around, I know one of my friends, Kimberly, had asked me about this today, and Kimberly, I know you're going to be here with us soon. I don't see you yet. You said there's all these carbs around. If you go away at someone else's house, what do you do? And it's tempting, and sometimes you want it. So same situation as where we talked about with the holiday parties. One, it's okay to have some, but go with some in mind, your portion of how much you actually are going to allow yourself to have. So remember, like in advance, you want to be feeling satisfied when you go up and face that food. So make sure that you've already had your vegetables, you've had everything you wanted. If
lean protein, because that's really going to help to fill you up, whether it's shrimp or lean fish, that protein satisfies you. So you definitely want to have that if you're having a meal, and then you want to have the small portion of the carbohydrate.
Mac and cheese. So maybe if it's mac and cheese, maybe if you can, if there's a little cup or something that you can put it in versus just putting a pile on your plate and sticking to that and truly enjoying it. I mean, this is the holidays. You should enjoy it.
Yes,
if you're
definitely want to enjoy it.
If you're eating healthy, you have room for it. Do your normal exercise, but just, make sure that you face that food with a leg up so that you're feeling full already. You don't dive in when you're not full. You dive in when you're already full, so that you're not going to overdo it. That portion is plenty for you. And eat it slowly, chew it slowly, and truly enjoy it. Enjoy it, because what we find is that first bite is typically the best, so eat it very slowly. That's the key. Chew it and enjoy it. And so that's how you would handle that. And as well, when it's sitting out in front of you, when it's not your house, just keep your back to it. Go to another room. Do whatever you can.
Try to avoid it.
Yeah, to not
go for
have
a walk,
it in your face.
do whatever you can do.
Yeah, just don't have it as much as possible, not in your face. And then, like when we said, if you want it, it's okay. Just make sure that you face it with a leg up and slowly. So those are the questions. We don't see any more coming in. Okay. Oh, this is a good question. Nicole says, I'm vegetarian, and when I go to holiday dinners and parties, the only options seem to be heavy foods like buttery stuffed mushrooms, pastas and dessert, and salad. Do you have ideas for me? Once again, used to be our issue as well. As much as possible, we try to eat what we could, especially vegetables and light stuff before we go. And then if there's things that were there that we wanted to have, we'd have small portions of them. If there's nothing there you want to have, you really want to go there with a leg up by having something before you go.
Yeah. So anyhow, happy holidays to you all. Thank you so much for tuning in.
Joining us, and happy holidays. And we'll be back next week answering more of your questions relating to other issues.
So email us at info@nutritiontwins and send them in. And
info@nutritiontwins.com.
.com, right, to come.
And thanks for joining us, and let us know other questions you have and other holiday issues, and enjoy your holidays.
Happy holidays.
Happy holidays. Bye.
Bye.